Okay, carpenters. So what I'd like to talk to you about in this video is how to find the sides of an octagon without having an octagon scale on your square. This is that large square that I showed you yesterday. And if you look right over here on the tongue of the square, you'll see a series of dots leading up to 5, 10, 15, 20, etc., all the way up to 65 on this end. And what that is the diameter that you want to have for your octagon. So basically what you're doing is you're drawing a circle on a piece of paper using a compass or some device like that, and you're trying to find out how long are each one of the sides if I try to put an octagon or an 8-sided figure inside of that circle. So in this case, this circle, which I just randomly drew, is approximately 5.5 inches in diameter, 5 3/4 inches in diameter. And so I would look on this scale here, and I would look at 5, and then between the 5 and the next dot, which would be 6, about 3/4 of the way across there, I would take a dividers or a compass, and I would move it in to this position, about 3/4 of the way, and that would be the sides of my octagon. So I would take and make a mark here, and I would go ahead and do an arc here, and I would also do an arc there, and that would be one side of my octagon. And then I would go ahead and do another arc and another arc, and that would be the next side of my octagon, and I would continue all the way around. But with the square that I had you guys and gals put together yesterday, square similar to this one, we don't have an octagon scale on that. So what do you do if you don't have an octagon scale? Well, you can use your square to determine what that is. And so what you would do is you need to determine the diameter of the circle that the octagon would fit in. And octagon scales, by the way, were used, as I mentioned in the PowerPoint, they were used to help carpenters to create posts or columns for porches. In fact, I was involved in one such incident where we actually built posts for a front porch, and we made them by using wood to create octagons that we then later rounded, smoothed and rounded to make them look like a round column, when in actuality they were an octagon. But in any case, if you know what the diameter is, you can go ahead and determine what the sides will be based on using your carpenter square. So I'm going to use this square right now, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark a 6-inch. I'm going to say I have a 6-inch diameter circle, and so 6 inches is right there on this square. I know this square is not as easy to read as the other one is, but that's 6 inches there. And then 6 inches over here would be right here in this location. So if I draw a right angle using my square, and I draw a line right here, and then I draw a line right here, and then I say that, well, okay, I'm going to go with 6 inches, and 6 inches would be right there. And I'm going to go with 6 inches over here. So there's 5, and there's 6 inches right there. So what I have is 2 legs of a triangle that are the same distance, 6 inches here and 6 inches here. And now the last thing I need to do in order to determine the sides of my octagon with a 6-inch diameter is I need to measure that distance and then subtract. And so I'm going to go ahead and measure this distance. And the distance from this point up here to this point up here is approximately 8 1/2 inches. So it's 8 1/2 inches. And then what I need to do is I need to subtract the diameter, that 6-inch diameter that I had before. So I subtract 6 inches from there. I take the half down here, 8 from 6, or 8 minus 6 is 2, and that is the sides of our octagon. So we can do it on the table if we have one available. But if we don't have a table, then what we can do is create a right angle using our square, measure up the distance that our diameter will be on both sides, and then measure that distance between. And then after we've measured that distance between, we go ahead and subtract our original diameter. I'm going to go ahead and draw that line in there so you have it. Okay, so when you do this experiment, or this problem rather, I want you to go ahead and determine a distance. Could be 3.5 inches, 4 inches, 5 inches, 6 inches, whatever will fit on the paper that you have available. And go ahead and do this to determine what the sides of an octagon would be. So in this case, if I drew a circle 6 inches in diameter, each side of the octagon would be 2.5 inches. If you have any questions about this, just let me know. Give me a text or send me an email, and I'll get right back to you. Thanks for watching.